This is KGW News at Sunrise.
These athletes who have been abused and neglected have the strongest drive and commitment to themselves that I've ever seen, and then it gets exploited.
Taking a stand. Details on a multi-million-dollar lawsuit where a former Oregon runner is taking Nike and her former coach to court.
Plus, are the current local vaccine mandates working to convince people to get the shot so they don't lose their job? We're going to check on both Oregon and Washington as Monday's deadline looms.
And if you need some inspiration to help jumpstart your day, we have some on the show this morning thanks to the athletes from Special Olympics Oregon. We're going to preview the organization's annual Breakfast for Champions, coming up here in about 25 minutes.
Yes, good morning to you. We have made it halfway through the week. Happy Wednesday. And a little rainy this morning on my drive-in.
Yeah, scattered showers out there. Overall, as you look at the radar, it's pretty quiet up and down I-5. We've got quite a few showers at the coast. We do have the one wet pocket currently up here in Clark County, and that's some pretty hefty rain. It's been working down Mill Plain. It's all moving off to the east, so can't miss Washougal, Troutdale on the Oregon side, starting to see the rain pick up a little bit. Otherwise, it's warmer out and more pleasant than it was 24 hours ago. PDX is at 46 degrees. At the bus stop, this will be a classic, mostly cloudy day, scattered showers coming and going, mid-40s out the door, 52 at lunchtime, and 57 degrees today when the kids get out of school, guys.
All right, Rod, thank you. We begin this morning with the upcoming Monday deadline for teachers, state, and healthcare workers in both Oregon and Washington to get the COVID vaccine or lose their jobs.
Pat Doris talked about the deadline with a healthcare leader at Legacy, which was among the first groups in Oregon to issue its own vaccine mandate.
Roughly 14,000 people work in the Legacy health system, and when Legacy laid out their COVID vaccine mandate, they went far beyond their employees.
Anyone who comes to a Legacy facility, whether it's a hospital, a clinic, an outpatient, environment, any Legacy person they interact with, whether it's a volunteer, an employee, a provider, a student, any Legacy person, a vendor, they interact with or they see will be fully vaccinated.
Sonia Steves is the Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer for Legacy Health. She said the system's firm stance has helped increase vaccinations there.
From early August, we have tried to be extremely clear about the consequences and our commitment to having an environment that is 100% vaccinated.
Legacy reports that before the mandate, 85% of all employees were vaccinated. Now, with the mandate, the number has moved to 95%. Another 1% have at least one dose. About 700 are on unpaid leave. Kaiser Permanente reports before the mandate, 79% of workers were vaccinated, and after, the number moved to 89%. About 170 are on unpaid leave. Providence reports that their vaccination rate moved from 80% to 90% with the mandate. At OHSU, the mandate moved the vaccination rate from 86% to 94%. And Salem Health reports their vaccination rate moved from 75% to 88% after the mandate. Back at Legacy, Steve said hundreds applied for religious or medical exemptions, but a majority were rejected. She won't say exactly how many. She anticipates lawsuits to try and stop the mandate. In the meantime, she said Legacy is hoping the holdouts will change their minds and get vaccinated.
We will, when they meet that requirement, we will welcome them back and we will honor, if it's within a year, we'll honor all of their years of service as a rehire.
Pat Doris, KGW News.
Again, Monday the 18th is the deadline for teachers, state workers, and healthcare providers to get vaccinated or lose their jobs. And it appears in Cowlitz County that is pushing up vaccination rates. A free medical clinic in Longview has been administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The nonprofit Community Health Partners runs the clinic. A few months ago, it started seeing more people come in for shots as the state announced mandates, and the Delta variant drove up cases and deaths. They still find people who aren't too keen on getting the vaccine, but they're getting it anyway.
We'll give them all the science information, and we're not trying to twist their arm, but we'll go as slow as they need to go before they have their shot, because some people are just scared.
Cowlitz County's vaccination rate is well below the statewide average, with just over half of eligible residents fully vaccinated.
Well, those who got the Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccine might be able to get their booster shot soon. FDA advisors are meeting tomorrow and Friday to decide if the extra doses should be distributed. The advisors will also recommend who should get the shots. The final decision isn't expected for at least another week. The CDC will discuss the boosters next week.
Well, over the last few months, we've talked a lot about the surge of the Delta variant and the huge strain it put on hospitals in Oregon and Washington. So that's why, back in August, we took you inside 2 Oregon ICUs. One of them was the intensive care unit at OHSU, and this woman we're going to see here, Miranda Rich, was in that ICU. She has since recovered, but she decided to reach out to us after seeing herself in that KGW special report.
And I was like, maybe they need to know that somebody made it, that somebody out of the ICU actually did make it and is alive. I don't want to be known as the heartbreaking case of a young woman who was unvaccinated and covered in tubes.
Miranda told us that her mom and her husband both got COVID early on during the pandemic, and when she didn't get it back then, she thought she was safe. But after nearly dying in the ICU this year, she is now vaccinated. She says she hopes her story will give people some hope, and you can see more of that story online on the KGW YouTube channel.
Nike and disgraced track coach Alberto Salazar are facing a major lawsuit. Former Nike athlete Mary Cain is suing them for $20 million, alleging years of abuse. When Cain was 16, she joined the now defunct Nike Oregon Project. Salazar coached the team. The lawsuit claims he publicly shamed her for her weight, controlled her diet leading to malnutrition, mocked her for having panic attacks, and led her to self-harm. Cain's attorney wants the case to underline why companies should prioritize women's health and well-being and not just winning and profits.
These athletes who have been abused and neglected have the strongest drive and commitment to themselves that I've ever seen, and then it gets exploited.
In a statement to KGW, Nike said it doesn't comment on ongoing litigation, but it's committed to positively affecting the future of sport for women and girls, and it's doing more in this space than ever before. Last summer, the U.S. Center for Safe Sport banned Salazar from track and field for life for sexual and emotional misconduct. He was already in the middle of a 4-year ban imposed by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
All right, let's talk money, shall we? Because tax season's still a few months away, but a new change could give you a tax credit. In Oregon, there was a tax surplus of almost $2 billion. So instead of kicker checks, again, this is not cash money, the surplus will be returned to you through a credit on your income tax return filed next year. So in Oregon, the kicker goes into effect when the actual state revenue goes over by at least 2%. According to the state, there was a $1.9 billion tax surplus, a lot of it linked to the pandemic shutdowns. We have a link on our website to help you calculate how much money in that credit you will get.
We will help you do the math. Rod, I know something else that's going to pop up on our website here in the next couple of days. Your always popular winter outlook. When can we see that online, Rod?
Yeah, well, we're going to have it on Sunrise right here tomorrow morning. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll get it online at some point during the day tomorrow, which means no later than Friday morning at this time, it will all be posted online. But that's coming up back-to-back of 2 La Nina seasons. And there really is something I found pretty interesting. There's a definite trend as to what you get if you have back-to-back La Nina seasons as to what you get that second season, which is what we will be in this winter. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. I hope. All right, here we go. We have snow on the mountain again. Timberline reporting 4 to 5 inches on their website of new snow up there. Now, if you are traveling, the passes are in good shape. That's a clean highway down to Government Camp. Temperatures around freezing, but Santiam and Willamette show clean pavement this morning as well. Snow levels around 3,500 feet at this hour. Okay, here's the radar. Scattered showers at the coast. Again, right now, not a lot inland, but we do have this rainy pocket we've been tracking. It's moving over Camas right now, and Troutdale on the Oregon side of the Columbia getting some rain. Early morning numbers are pretty comfortable. We're all in the 40s. Yesterday, remember, we got down to 38 in Portland. It's actually tied the record low for the date. Today, the clouds keeping us warmer. We have 30s out east, and there are some, depending on elevation, rain and snow showers across eastern Oregon at this hour. You folks expected to be dry this afternoon. Back to the west side we go. 50s from McMinnville down to Corvallis. Total rain amounts today on average maybe you get about a 1/10 of an inch of rain at your place. Similar numbers up through southwest Washington. Winds will be light from the west to 5 miles per hour. The showers through the day tomorrow. There's a warm front tomorrow, and that actually brings in warmer weather into the weekend. I've taken out the rain chance for Friday and Saturday. 2 dry days. 68 Saturday would be marvelous. And then we have that rainy day Sunday with the cold front coming through. That's your forecast.
That'll be a nice way to start the weekend. Rob, thank you much. Well, there are some concerns about river levels in Oregon. Researchers say they're lower than normal right now. Coming up this morning, a closer look at the problem and when those rivers may rebound. Also, a Colorado woman needs a new kidney, but she says she can't get one because she's not vaccinated. Our Verify team looks into whether hospitals require vaccines for people on the transplant waiting list.